What's going on, guys? Got another comic book haul video for you. First two books I picked up at a toy and antique mall in South Louisville. It's a really cool place if you're ever in the area. It's called South Louisville Antique and Toy Mall. Funnily enough, it's like a peddler's mall, except almost, I'd say 95% of everything they have is toys and yeah, just toys, and like they got a bunch of action figures. They have comic books. Not a lot of comic books. It's a lot of action figures. A lot of like starting lineups. What do you call them? Hot Wheels cars. They got a whole bunch of trains. A bunch of Funko Pops. Just a bunch of really cool stuff. So it's always fun to go there and see what they have. They don't have a ton of comic books, but I always just like going through. Just looking at all the cool toys, and then if they do have comic books, just kind of going through what they have. So that's where I got this first one. I was very excited to get this. This is Punisher #1 from his first ongoing series back in 85, 86, 87, somewhere mid to late 80s, I'm not sure. I never had this when I was a kid, so I was very excited to pick it up. Excuse me. It was $10, so I was really happy with that price. I was surprised when I was checking the prices online. I guess $10 is kind of on the lower end of market right now, but this was going, I mean, when I was a kid, I think this would go for like 30 or 40 bucks. So I was really happy to find a good copy for 10. It's not the best copy. That sticker's on the bag, or that mark that's from the stickers on the bag. It's not on the book. The spine's a little dinged up. There's a little indent right there, but other than that, it's in pretty good shape. So, like I said, for 10 bucks, I was very excited to get that. I think I have almost the first full, like 50 issues, I think, of this. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep going or not. I'll probably just pick up spare issues if the cover catches my eye or something. But really excited to find #1. And then the only other book I found at the toy mall was this cool XMen promo comic. This was 50 cents. This was a giveaway. You can see down there at Pizza Hut. Back in the early 90s, when the X-Men animated series was on Fox, they were partnered with Pizza Hut. You could actually get video cassettes of the X-Men cartoons from Pizza Hut. I had a set of those because back in the early 90s, that's all you had on TV, basically, was the X-Men cartoons, as far as comic book content that wasn't comic books. So, really into that, obviously. And I can't remember if I had these comics when I was a kid. I probably did. I'm not sure how many there were. This is #1. There's probably like 3 or 4, but I think it's still in the original poly bag, which was cool. It's got a nice wraparound cover. I don't know if there's a trading card or anything inside. Oh no, it's actually ripped at the top. I just noticed that. Oh crap. No, let's go ahead and open it up to see if there's anything in there. No, nothing falls out. Just a really big gatefold cover. So that's pretty cool. Again, for 50 cents. Really happy to find that. Got the original bag attached, I guess, but there's no telling what was in there. I'm not sure. There's a suffocation warning on the bag. So 1993, yeah. So anyway, just happy to find that for 50 cents. Can't beat that. Excuse me. Alright, and this next stack of books is from a local shop called Comic Book World. I go there probably every month, every 6 weeks or so. They do a good job about rotating their dollar comics or putting out new dollar books, so that's always good. And on this particular occasion, I had noticed there were some boxes in a spot there normally weren't boxes, so I asked them what those were. There was about 4 long boxes. Excuse me. And the guy said he was pretty sure they were dollar books, but they hadn't gone through them the last time to make sure they were dollar books. So he told me I could go through them and pull out anything I wanted, and he would price them if he didn't think they were dollar books. And if they were dollar books, he'd just give them to me for $1. So I'm always kind of leery when they say stuff like that because, you know, I like to find stuff. I don't like paying market price for stuff, so I like to find stuff for cheap and then flip it to pay for some of the expenses. So it's kind of hard to do that when they look everything up. But I was in a mood to dig, so I just started going through the books. And as I went through them, I just kind of pulled out everything that I wanted, and then also if there was stuff that I recognized that was less, or there was more than $1, or that was going for more than $1, like on eBay and stuff, I pulled those out too, just to let them know, you know, hey, you should probably not put these in the dollar boxes, pull these out and price them, just to, I don't know, I like doing that too, just to show, to help them out a little bit. And then I also kind of thought maybe if I did that, then he wouldn't look as closely to the stuff that I pulled out, which ended up being the case. He gave me everything for $1 and one of them for $5. So that was pretty cool. So we'll get started here. Got Marvel Fanfare number 18. Just a cool Frank Miller Captain America cover. There's a Captain America story in there. And then there's also a cool gallery at the end. I think most of these Marvel Fanfares had these galleries in the last 5 or 6 pages. This one's from Kevin Nolan portfolio. Got a cool Black Widow and Dagger there on the left. And then you got Sheena, or who is it? Red Sonja, and then Jean Grey. Then you got I don't know who the yellow lady is, but it's a cool She-Hulk picture. And then this one's Terry Austin. Got some of his work. Got a cool Doom cover. Another Black Widow. Some cool XMen looking like a CD cover or something. And Cloak and Dagger. So that was pretty cool. Just hadn't seen that before. The Captain America cover caught my attention. So just flipped through it and saw the other stuff. So decided to pick it up. Next we got Lola Wasteland Madam. This is number 3. This is I think the second miniseries for this Lola XO series. I had no idea about this until Renovision did a little spotlight on this artist a few weeks ago, Saya Oum. She does the covers and the interiors on this. So I really liked her art style. So I had my eyes out for these series. These all go for like $1, and no big books in the Lola series. I think she did some cover work on some of the Marvel variants, I think, that go for money, but I was more interested in finding the stuff where she did the interior work, so I was happy to find that. Then some other cool books. Some Adventures of Ford Fairlane, number 1. This is the comic book adaptation of the wonderful Andrew Dice Clay movie. Got number 1 and got number 2. I think this was a 4-issue miniseries. I found number 3 a few months ago. And so I've been looking for the others since then. So I was happy to find numbers 1 and 2. Next, I've got a couple books that have local ties here to the Louisville, Kentucky region. This is Man of God number 1. This was a book. The guy that did the letters on here, I think I've shown this before in one of my other hauls, but I'll show it again. He is Jonathan Sweeney there. He did the letters. So when I was a kid, me and my friends worked at a local comic shop called Squeeze Play, where we would like organize comics for store credit and everything. And Jonathan Sweeney, he was older than us. He was in college at the time. We were all in middle school or high school. So he actually worked there as a job, and we all got to know him and got to be friends. And then, after we all quit working there and the shop went out of business, fell out of touch with him. Then I saw him at a comic book convention in Louisville probably about 10 years ago now, and he was promoting this book with the other creators. So anytime I find this, I pick it up just as a cool little reminder of that. And then in that vein here, we've got Monster Mayhem number 1. This is an imprint from Pet Shop Comics that was started by another Louisville, Kentucky guy. His name was Rick Newby. He actually ran the pet store that was in the same strip mall as that comic book shop that I worked at when I was a kid. So he would come over and hang out at the comic book shop with us, and then we would go over to the pet shop and look around at the, all the cool pets that they had over there. And then he ended up opening his own comic book shop years later, sometime in the early 2000s, I think, when I wasn't collecting, and that's when he started his own imprint. These are all Christian comics, which, take that for what it's worth. I don't care about that. I just pick it up because it's a nice little nostalgia thing, and it's a connection to my childhood and the Louisville, Kentucky area, so I thought that was cool. Next, we got Ninjas vs. Aliens #1, just a Ben Dunn mini-series from Ninja High School fame. I've never seen this before, but I read through it. It was pretty entertaining, about what you would expect, but nothing too earth-shattering, but just good fun read. Next, we got Street Fighter Reloaded #2, just a cool J. Scott Campbell cover, and then on the back, there's a cool Ken cover. I'm not sure who the artist is on that. It's got his signature there. Let me see if it's on the inside cover. Let's see. Back cover, Joe Chin. So yeah, I'm not sure who that is, but really cool picture of Ken, more in the traditional style, I guess, of the Street Fighter artwork. And then the J. Scott Campbell, you can tell that's a Campbell cover on it. That's what drew my eye to that. The next, we got Shattered Earth #3. It's pretty obvious what drew my eye to this cover. This sad lady, she's crying. And this was a wraparound? No, it's not a wraparound. A lot of these Eternity and Innovation imprints have wraparound covers. That's why I checked. But this is like very early Jim Ballant artwork. He did the cover on this, and that's what caught my eye. So I think he did the whole miniseries. This was like a 3 or 4 issue miniseries, so I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled for these now. Next, we've got V-Wars #0. This is the free comic book day. It's kind of the prequel to this V-Wars series. It's a Kevin Eastman cover. He does not do the interior art, but he does the subcovers for the whole series. I think there's 5 issues, so I'm pretty sure I've got all of them now, but I haven't. I picked a lot of them up in a haul from last week that I haven't shown yet, so we'll get to those in a couple weeks. But this one I found on this day at Comic Book World, and I read through the prequel issue. It was pretty interesting. It reminded me a lot of World War Z, except there are vampires instead of zombies, so that was pretty cool. I look forward to actually reading the series, and I think it might have been based on a novel, or there is at least a novelization of this story as well. So I may check that out as well. So those were all the books that I grabbed out of those the bins that were not labeled $1 yet. And then I also grabbed this. This was the expensive book. This is Witchblade #131. It only goes for like $15 or $20. Just a cool John Tyler Christopher cover. This is cover C. I guess there was 4 or 5 different covers. Cover B actually is a really cool Copper Tone homage. So I was poking around on Comic Geeks, the app, to see what the other covers looked like, and saw that. So that's on my radar now too. I can't remember who the artist is, but it's really cool. So I had this stack. I pulled these out, and then the other books that I pulled out just for them to price that were worth more than $1. There was like Wild Cards #1, that George R.R. Martin book. There was some Infinity Inc. books, some of the early McFarlane art, which I'd like to get, but they didn't have any of the ones with like Dead Man on the cover. I think that might be his first one. I can't remember what number it is, but that's a cool cover. The Infinity Inks that I pulled out with the early McFarlane art on the covers were not that great, so I wasn't too interested in getting those. I pulled those out. Then there's one of those Luther Strode books, I think. So it wasn't anything spectacular. Most of the books go like 10, 15, $20 on a good day on eBay. So I just made a stack of those, and he was like, "Hey, do you want these?" I was like, No, you can these just shouldn't be in the dollar bin if you guys want to price them for whatever. And then he's like, "Okay, I can make you a deal on the other one." So he gave me these 10 books, 11 books for $15. So they were all dollar books, and then the Witchblade one was the expensive one. Although that Shattered Earth one, I looked that one up. That one can go for about 20 or 30 bucks too. I had no idea. I just liked the cover. So I don't know. It was just something fun that happened. I got to dig through some almost virgin long boxes and pulled out some stuff and helped them out at the same time. Got a good deal. So win-win. And then the next stack of books, these were all just from the regular dollar boxes at Comic Book World that they had already sorted. So I just went through those while I was there. This was just, I have no idea what this book is. It's Fight for Tomorrow #1. I just grabbed it because it's a Jim Lee cover. Thought that was cool. I got a couple Mass Effect books here. Mass Effect Evolution #1 with the Elusive Man there on the cover. And then #2, this is Mass Effect Redemption. So that's a separate series from Evolution. But just really love the Mass Effect video games, so I'm going to try to put all the series that they have out together. Next, we've got RV9. This is something I hadn't heard of before. The cover caught my eye, and this is kind of cool. It's a promo comic. You can see it's a sneak preview, and then on the back it looks like there's a sticker and a bookmark, and then some dude's business card. Manuel Castellanos from Mad Cave. Looks like he's one of the retailer relation managers from Florida. I guess that's probably where Mad Cave is based out of. So no telling how Comic Book World in Louisville, Kentucky ended up with this comic, but artwork was really cool on the cover. It's got the cover artist is Nicholas Salamanca, I think his last name. Yeah. So I found some other series with him in it that I added to my want list where he did the interior art. So I'll be looking out for those as well. Next, we've got Aeon. This is just a video game comic from NCSoft. I read through it. The storyline's pretty standard, fantasy stuff. It reminded me, I think this might be an MMO or was an MMO. That's kind of what it felt like reading. So it wasn't great. I'd never played the video game before or anything, but I just like picking up video game comics. Next is kind of a goofy indie comic called Dick Skycap and Dr. Ian Defrost. Just a fun, goofy comic. This one's set in the year 4000, I think. Dick Skycap and his sidekick, Dr. Ian Defrost, they're both like mail carriers or something. It's pretty ridiculous. The artwork caught my eye. It's got that cool painted cover, and then this is kind of what the artwork on the inside looks like. It's all in black and white, but this is a blow up of one panel in color, and that was pretty funny. So I just like picking up weird stuff like that. Next, I got some manga comics. Got 3x3 Eyes, #1. My buddy David turned me on to these. He picked up some of these from the Innovation imprint, and I'd never seen those before, and this was the first time I'd seen the series in the Dark Horse imprint, so I was happy to find those. I'm not sure if there's an anime of this or not, if it was just a manga, but it's just fun fantasy stuff. I got #1, #4, and #5. And then I also picked up a couple of other cool Jim Lee covers here. Got the Wild Storm #3. I guess Jim Lee did the B covers on the first maybe 6 issues of this series. So I'm going to try to pick up all those. I got #3 and #4. Those were each $1. So, and actually, just recently checked out the first volume of the trade paperback from the library. I'm going to read it. It's the first 6 issues because it's written by Warren Ellis. He's one of my favorite writers. So Jim Lee doesn't do the interiors or anything, but the covers are pretty cool. So looking forward to that. And then the last dollar book I had at Comic Book World was a Sojourn #17. This is just run filler for the Sojourn series that I'm trying to complete. Just a fun cross-gen book. Not worth anything, but it's got Ron Marr's story, and Greg Land does the covers and interiors for almost all the issues. It goes up to 35. This is one of the few ones that he doesn't do the interior or the cover for, but you can find these for $1. I found a lot of them for 50 cents too, so just trying to piece that run together. Alright, and then the last stack is just a few books I got from Great Escape, another local comic shop here in Louisville. These were all $1, and then I paid cover price. I'm going to show one new book, and then some magazines for 50 cents. So this was just a fun crossover book, Iron Man XO Man of War. I'd forgotten that this was based on a promo to video game, I guess. Because it's in the back, it's got some terrible screenshots and like hints on how to get through the video game. So I never played it. The game does not look great, so I cannot speak to its quality. The comic book was fun. I did read through that. There were 2 parts. This is the second part, I guess. There's an Iron Man XO Man of War, and then there's an XO Man of War Iron Man. They're just labeled differently. The stories are different too, I would imagine. I have the first one, but I haven't read it yet. So it was fun. It's just, this is if Iron Man finds, or if Tony Stark finds that XO suit, and then if Eric from XO finds the Iron Man suit. So it's kind of a fun 90s crossover. One more Jim Lee cover. This is DV8. This is the, I guess this is the Sloth. Is that what that says? Yeah, Sloth. So they did a cover for each of the 7 deadly sins, and I think I've got 5 of them now, 4 or 5 of them. So I'm working on getting all those. That was $1. Got this Action Comics 684 for $1. I only picked this one up because it's a newsstand. It's in really good shape. The only bad thing is the quarter books at Great Escape, they have the price tag, the stickers on the book, so that's kind of a bummer. But yeah, I'm not going to sell that, so just for my own personal collection. And then beautiful Ultimate Warrior comic book #1. This is my second copy of this. I'm probably going to send this over to Marco on the Renovision channel, because he was talking about how he wants the Ultimate Warrior comics, and this is my second copy, so I'll probably send that over to him. And then I usually don't show new books, but this one I got at Great Escape too. Just fun, Last Shadowhawk in 3D. It's got the Youngblood 1 homage, and then I can't tell if, I don't know if you can pick up the 3D on the camera, but it comes with these awesome 3D glasses. Next, this is my second copy of this. I have the A cover. It's pretty brutal, the comic. It's really good though. It's all basically just full of splash pages, so it kind of reminded me of the like Superman 75, just that big fight scene between Superman and Doomsday. Splash pages galore. Alright, and then try to back up the camera here. The last 3 books are all magazines. These were all 50 cents a piece. I picked up the Marvel Swimsuit Special. I can't remember which one this is. I think 3 or 4. Just a fun, it's a Hildebrandt Brothers cover with, looks like, yeah, that's Rogue and, I'm sorry with the camera, I'm trying to get it to stop. It's Rogue and Gambit. It doesn't really look like Gambit. I guess it's hard to tell what Gambit looks like because I always see him, you know, in his full costume and his cloak and everything. So, I don't know. Maybe that's what he looks like without it. And then I got another one with this Adam Hughes cover. So, I was happy to find those for 50 cents each. And I had to buy a magazine box. So, I'm going to probably, because the Last Ronin, that new Ninja Turtle series, those books only fit in like basically magazine bags and boards. So, I just had those sitting in a pile. So it was about time I got a magazine box, so I'll start picking up magazines now probably when I find them that I like. And then the last magazine, I got News Time. This is just a like kind of a parody of like Newsweek and Time magazine. They kind of put this together after the Death of Superman and Reign of Superman events in 92 and 93. So it's kind of cool. Just got some fake news stories in there, and then it's Clark Kent's version of, or Clark Kent's issue of News Time. It's delivered straight to his house in Metropolis. So there you go. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I will talk to you soon.